Ave Maria Purissima. I am continuing on my talks that I've been giving for you about this man and this woman, Reyes and Estela Reese, whom God brought together and whom He blessed in a very special way, because He was going to ask something of them for the greater glory of for the greater glory of His name. And so, I also wanted to explain to you a little bit of why I say Ave Maria Purissima when I begin these talks. Ave Maria Purissima in English means Mary most pure. And Reyes always said that. When he started a talk, when he spoke to somebody, he would always start with Ave Maria Purissima. And I also wanted to explain to you why Reyes would say those things. By the time that we were married, he used to say it. And I want to tell you how he got to that point. When Reyes was a little boy, 6, 7 years old, they used to take him. They were all farmers. His whole family were farmers. They lived in a farming community. And they used to take him to pick crops, to pick cotton. And so he grew up doing that. All the children would go, and some of them would work, and some of them would play, but the whole family was out there. And he says that he had a great-grandfather who used to walk through the rows of the cotton fields. He said, but one thing that I noticed about my great-grandfather is that had a picture of someone, and he would hang it on the fence, one of the fences around the camps, where the fields where they went to pick cotton. And he would go down the first row and then come back. On the way back, he would stop in front of the picture. He would bless himself, and then he could see him moving his lips as if he was talking to this person in the picture. He was just a little boy. He couldn't understand, who is this person that he goes with such great love and such devotion, speaks to her. And so one day he decided to go and find out for himself what he was looking at and who he was talking to. So he went over to the picture. When he got close to the picture, he saw that it was this beautiful lady. And she was dressed in this pink dress with beautiful flowers on her. She had on this mantle that was kind of green. And on the mantle, and on the green mantle, there were stars all over it. He was just so overwhelmed at the beauty that he saw. But the thing that he was most moved by was the fact that this lady whom he was looking at had the same color of skin that he did. Reyes was a dark man. And this woman that he was looking at was a woman that was dark also. And so he just related to her in such a special way. And he says the moment that he saw her, he felt his heart just be so moved with love, that he fell in love with her right there at that moment, just a little boy. And he grew in that love every day and every moment of his life. By the time that he moved out of his home, he was a young boy when he left. He must have been 11 or 12, and he moved to go to live with some uncles. His mother, in the meantime, had remarried, and he wasn't able to get along with his stepfather. And so he moved out to live with his uncles. And since he had no one to give him rules, he made his own rules up. And he basically did whatever he wanted to do. He said in those years that he was growing up, he did many things that he wasn't proud of, that he did things that were not right, that were not good for him. He said, and so I became a sinner out in the world. And it was during the time when he also went to the service that he left to go to the service, that he found himself doing things that he didn't feel like were right, yet he did them because he felt that there were no rules or anybody to tell him not to. He said, I became a sinner out in that world. He said, temptations were there, and I followed my temptations. He said, I didn't know how to get out of them. He didn't have knowledge of God like I'm not quite sure if that would have made the difference, but he really didn't have knowledge of God. The only knowledge that he had and communication he had with his God was this lady, this woman named Mary. His grandfather had told him that this woman's name was Maria, Mary. And so this was the only connection that he had with his God. And he followed that connection with great love and great devotion. He learned how to pray Hail Mary. And he used to pray 3 Hail Marys for every person that had passed away in his family. And after there were so many people had passed away, then he started praying the rosary because it became a shorter way to pray. And so he prayed the rosary on a daily basis. And he continued to live that life. So in the service, he had several experiences with our Blessed Mother that were so special. And his connection with God was this great lady. And he grew up with this great love. So by the time that we got married, Reyes brought with him that love. He didn't bring any knowledge of God. He knew that there was a God. He knew that Jesus had taken away his father. He was upset because Jesus had taken away his father. And he didn't feel like he wanted to talk to this Jesus. But with time, he got to know that this woman was the mother of this Jesus. And he was mad at Jesus, but he wasn't mad at Mary, the mother. And so his love for this woman grew and grew. And by the time that he realized and he came into the marriage, he had this tremendous love. So the first 5 years of this marriage, Reyes was still unsettled. He didn't have the relationship with God that would stop people, that can stop people from anger and from all the things that are not pleasing to God. And so he still used him. He's anger, short-tempered, and so on and so forth. And people knew him for his being short-tempered and insistent that he would be the one to make things happen. And so he was known kind of like a grump and a man of anger. However, he continued to follow this great love of Mary. And nothing ever was going to break him from that. It grew to be such a special thing, not only for Reyes, but for his whole family, that this story can only be told because of the great love of God that this happened. And it all happened through his great mother, Mary.